WA has built world-class export industries in rapid timeframes before. We did it with LNG, we did it with mining, and we can do it again with clean energy. Now, I mentioned earlier that things that set us apart from our eastern states peers. Western Australia's role in the world is also different. The critical minerals the world relies on are not just for infrastructure and housing, but for renewable energy technologies like turbines, batteries, and vehicles. In part, our role in the world's energy transition will be as a global supplier of the essential materials required for decarbonisation. We are a proven, secure, reliable trade and ethical trade partner, which gets me to the main point I want to make today. I've just got back from visiting Japan, our second largest trading partner. I spent my time in Tokyo, where Western Australian LNG powers half of the city's electricity needs. Japan has been a valued customer for Western Australian LNG since 1989 and has invested billions in the Western Australian LNG industry. These days, Japan is one of many customers of Western Australian LNG, with other markets including China, South Korea, Taiwan, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, and Indonesia. But Japan remains our earliest and largest LNG customer, accounting for 19.5 million tonnes in 2024 from a total of 51 million tonnes of LNG exported in 2024. Like many countries around our region and around the world, Japan is seeking to decarbonise its energy system. Its seventh strategic energy plan, released in February this year by the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, provides a strong steer on Japan's decarbonisation direction. So let me quote from that particular document. It says, "We will maintain and secure the generation capacity necessary for stable supply of thermal power as a whole, while reducing the amount of electricity generated mainly from inefficient coal-fired power. Specifically, we will secure LNG-fired power as a means of transition, promote the decarbonisation of thermal power by utilising hydrogen, ammonia, and CCUS." So to put that into context, in 2022, 31% of Japan's power was provided by coal, and that will reduce by 2030 to 21%, to 19%. Renewables will go from 26% in 2022 and be elevated to 38% by 2030. And gas will supported the system to the tune of around about 34% in 2022, and that will go to 20% by 2030, but it will remain a significant and important part of their energy security needs. So what an incredible opportunity for Western Australia, an opportunity to support our trusted long-term trading partner to decarbonise now and into the future. LNG from our world-class industry now, ammonia and hydrogen from a number of projects currently under development later. Long-term secure energy supplies for Japanese households and businesses, long-term jobs and opportunities, business opportunities for Western Australians. Plus, the opportunity to make an outsized contribution to the fight against climate change by helping one of the world's largest economies to decarbonise. But while Japan might be leading the energy transition in Asia, there are growing opportunities to assist our regional trading partners to reduce their emissions as well. And this transition will happen in 3 stages. Firstly, gas, displacing high-emitting coal and diesel generation, followed by carbon blue fuels, helping to decarbonise harder-to-abate sectors with carbon capture, utilisation and storage. And ultimately, as 100% renewable green fuels become commercial at scale, we will see the final stage of the transition. Across each of these phases, WA has an important role to play in supporting our trading and, quite frankly, our strategic partners. We are well placed to export reliable, low-cost and increasingly lower emissions LNG. Continued growth in demand for gas from China, India and Indonesia can be fed from WA. For steelmaking and hard-to-abate sectors where commercially viable pathways to zero carbon energy are yet to surface, our gas will play a role as a transition fuel, not just through LNG, but in the form of blue hydrogen derivatives like clean ammonia, where carbon emissions can be captured to be used or stored. With global shipping now subject to a carbon price, there is now a commercial driver for clean ammonia to be used in shipping fuel. It can also be used to decarbonise industrial chemicals and fertilisers for export, as we see in the Pilbara with companies like Yara and Perdaman. Our role in decarbonising our trading partners doesn't just stop here. We have leverage. We can leverage our existing expertise and our world-leading resources in wind and solar into becoming a renewable energy powerhouse, creating value-added and even lower carbon exports like green iron, as well as green hydrogen and ammonia. But we must act now. We must continue to invest in common user infrastructure in both transmission corridors and in strategic industrial areas and ports. We must deliver further reform to our approvals processes to seize the opportunities in front of us in the timeframes that are required. And government and industry must work together to de-risk projects, just as governments have worked with the private sector to get our other great industries off the ground in the past. Both blue fuels and green fuels will be part of our future, with the fuels creating the markets and driving investment in the infrastructure that will be needed to make green fuels viable into the future. I'm pleased that during a meeting between myself and the Vice Minister for International Affairs, Matsuo-san, in Tokyo on Monday, we reaffirmed our long-term partnership, as well as making a joint commitment to decarbonisation and the many ways that Japan and Western Australia can work together for mutual benefit. I look forward to progressing this partnership further and having similar conversations with our other valued LNG customers. And I look forward to continuing to improve our approval system as Western Australia becomes a global leader in investment attraction, industry facilitation and regulation, to ensure that we can meet the demands of both our own energy transition and the energy transition of our major trading partners. This is what governments can do. We can build relationships, develop markets, invest in common user infrastructure, and remove roadblocks within the system. But obviously, not everyone agrees with the importance of LNG as a transition fuel, or on the importance of supporting our major trading partners on their journey to net zero in this way. Some think that we can just flick a switch, that we can go from coal to renewables just like that. If we are to see further investment in our LNG sector, we will need to work together to counter that misinformation put forward by some. Many of it from a well-meaning place, all of it from a misinterpretation of the data that's sitting in front of all of us. If we are to realise the economic and environmental benefits from helping our major trading partners to transition over the long term, we need to fight for them now. And we will need a Team WA approach to do this. One where industry consistently tells the story of how LNG is contributing to the decarbonisation efforts of countries that it sells into. Where our LNG industry demonstrates its achievements in reducing Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions. Where it talks up the efforts of its customers that they are putting into reducing emissions where LNG is being used to generate electricity in market. This is the sort of sophisticated conversation that we need to have right now. We all know the value of LNG in the sector in terms of creating jobs. We need to understand the contribution the sector makes through royalties and taxation. And in Western Australia, we need to understand the benefits of having competitively priced domestic gas supplied by our LNG producers for both economic growth and our ambition to get out of coal-fired power. In fact, there is a strong argument that the social licence of the LNG export industry in Western Australia is actually underpinned by our long-standing gas reservation policy. But the social licence of the industry going forward may also depend on us building the community's appreciation of how LNG is contributing to the decarbonisation of our major trading partners and laying the groundwork of export of clean energy products like ammonia and hydrogen, and ultimately green iron into the future. Ultimately, if Western Australia couldn't meet the demand of Japan and our other LNG customers, they would get their gas from elsewhere. That would be a huge missed opportunity. A missed opportunity for WA jobs, a missed opportunities to maintain our strong trading and strategic relationships and export green fuels faster, and a missed opportunity for the environment as the LNG is produced in other countries with lower environmental standards, then shipped 2 to 3 times the distance, generating additional greenhouse gas emissions with every additional nautical mile. It would be a massive economic home goal for us, and it would actually diminish the benefits to the globe in relation to climate emissions. An example of the perverse economic and environmental outcomes that can be created from good intentions, but not properly thought through, that I talked about earlier. As I've said before, Australia produces just over 1% of the world's carbon emissions. Of that, Western Australia contributes less than 1/5. Yes, we will continue to decarbonise the Western Australian economy, but our greater responsibility lies in helping our higher emitting trading partners to decarbonise their economies as well. Even if it doesn't make a great hashtag or sit neatly on a bumper sticker, it's an important mission that we have to commit ourselves to. Western Australia has changed incredibly since the first LNG shipment to Japan in 1989. We are a confident, outward-looking economy that is rapidly diversifying. We are a global leader in mining and LNG. Our reserves of critical minerals and rare earths make us even more important from a strategic perspective, as does the capability and forward plan for our defence industries. These opportunities have been largely curated by secure, affordable energy, delivered in large part by the domestic gas supplied by our LNG exporters over the last 35 years. And our vision for becoming a renewable energy powerhouse for the economic and environmental benefit of both Western Australia and our region will involve our LNG exporters again, providing the fuel to underpin the energy transition, both at home and within our major trading partners, maintaining our strong reputation as a strong and reliable trading partner, and laying the groundwork for cleaner energy exports now, then green energy exports later. This is an exciting time for WA. The opportunities are immense and the challenges are real. I get that. We need investment, we need people, and we need government and industry working hand in glove to bring the community with us and deliver new projects in the timeframes that we need. My government is up for the challenge, and today I ask you to to lean in further and embrace these opportunities with us. Thank you.